hang on. Hello and welcome to my channel. So today I'm just going to do a video talking about Android head units. So to be clear, I'm referring to head units that run Android, not Android Auto. So I'll get into the differences a little bit later, but I feel like these are a really interesting concept to me. So having the functionality of full-blown Android whilst driving, really appealing. You can have Google Maps with live traffic and working with Spotify. And then if you happen to be pulled over for, an amount of time, you can open up YouTube or Netflix or something like that as well. It's basically, a 9-inch Android tablet using your car audio. So, quite appealing. But what's the truth about these head units? Well, the truth is that you really need to be careful about what you buy. The reason I say this is because there's a lot of relatively unknown brands making these units, usually Chinese brands that sell them at appealing price points around the $100 to $300 Australian mark. I've purchased one of these units about a year ago, so I'll give you the summary of what happened in my experience. So here's the unit. It's effectively a 9-inch tablet running Android 8.1. And I'll sum up my experience by showing you how long it takes to open Google Maps. So as you can see, this is not good. It's not usable, and sometimes when I try to open Google Maps, it even freezes and restarts. So I seriously doubt that this is an issue just with my product. The problem is that a lot of these units are actually going to be running really cheap processors with really low amounts of RAM. The reason I bought this unit was because I'd assumed that even though it was low powered, all I wanted to do was open Google Maps and Spotify, but even such a simple task like that, which is easy for most phones these days, these tablets are just so underpowered that it becomes near impossible to have a good experience doing that. So opening Waze or other map software is generally a bit easier, but the reality is that overall, this unit runs full-blown Android on a processor that just isn't equipped to maintain the operating system, even at low levels of usage, especially when we compare that to the standards that we expect from our phones these days. Not only that, but the installation process came with some compromises as well. For me, anyway, the product advertises steering wheel controls. I've tried to set that up. It just doesn't work at all. The speakers initially just made a big crackling sound, so I had to turn off the rear speakers, and that seemed to fix the issue. But now I don't have rear speakers. I've only got front speakers working. And sometimes when I start the car, the audio comes out of only the left-hand side speaker or the right, and I need to go into the speaker app and, reset the audio when that happens. So to me, there are just too many compromises and risks in even swapping this item for a new one from my end, because I'm sure a different model at a similar spec will have just as many compromises, albeit different ones potentially. Now, in saying all of this, there is some good news. If anyone is thinking about taking a leap into this product, or if you purchased one and you're not quite happy with it, what I've got set up in mine is an app called Head Unit Reloaded. It's basically been a lifesaver for me. It's designed for head units like these. And what it does, it emulates Android Auto for your phone that you can just plug into one of the USB ports on the back of the device. You just install Head Unit Reloaded from the Google Play Store on your head unit and you're good to go. The way this emulator works is it basically uses no power at all. It's just a skin, and it pulls all the Android Auto information from your phone that it needs. So the map, your music, your notifications, or anything else. What this means is that the unit itself isn't running any demanding software like Maps or Spotify. It's merely outputting what your phone is inputting into it. So this is really beneficial because, most Android phones will be able to run Android Auto with no problems. and it makes the head unit seem, really fast and usable and reliable as well. Now, the downside to this app is that it's paid, but that's fine. It was, I think, $5 or $10, but I would gladly give the developer that money to get this head unit working based on what I paid for it. The downside, aside from that, is that it runs an Android Auto experience. So this means that you can't use it to watch YouTube. You won't be able to customize the software like you can with an Android tablet. There's no widgets, no home screen customization or anything like that. Another downside of this app is that you can never be sure how much longer it'll actually be supported. So my head unit runs Android 8.1, which is now 4 years old. At any point, this app may just say it's no longer compatible with Android Auto or Android 8.1. To the developer's credit, though, it seems like Android compatibility is a real focus for the makers of Head Unit Reloaded, which is great, and they've done an awesome job making this version. So while the support could technically end at any time, I believe and I kind of hope that that's not the case for a while. Now, in saying all of this, can I recommend one of these head units? Well, I would say for all the risks of the compromises that I mentioned earlier, probably not. But there are some real caveats to that recommendation. If you see a specific unit in your model of car that you're satisfied with and that it's working really well, then absolutely make the purchase. But unless I see exactly that, I won't be buying another one of these, that's for sure. That's my thoughts on the product. If you've got any recommendations for them, then, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear if there are any decent brands making these, that are kind of affordable, maybe with some better processors or something like that, because I still really love the concept. But yeah, unfortunately, these ones just aren't it. So thanks for watching, and catch you all later.